All right, everybody, are we ready? We have 45 people here today, which is awesome. Like, hooray for us. Um, Probably because everybody is scared of recertification, which makes me kind of sad. But I'm glad to see slash your name or face or whatever, on Zoom today. So, hello. Kate, do you just want me to do this? Just do the whole thing? Okay, since you were having problems anyway. So this is the Liz show today, so I apologize. So we're starting off 2024 on a great start. Here we are. So mostly today we're going to talk about the recertification. So I'm going to go through everything else first and then get to that at the end, even though it's kind of stuck in the middle of the agenda, because I feel like that makes more sense. So as always, as we start out, cataloging committee news at the top. There was no executive board meeting last month because it was December and it falls in that weird week right after Christmas. So there was not a executive board meeting. So there was no report from that. The monthly cataloging reports are automated, so they did come out. Those are linked there. I am still working on directions for those. I have a couple of them done, but I'm waiting to have all of them finished before I put them up. So if you have questions about those, please email me or Cat Help. We're happy to help you figure those out before we even get the directions done. So no worries, guys. The test server has updated. I didn't notice that big of a difference. There's a new tab view of, what does it say, staff view or something, but that was literally the only thing I noticed that looked different. If you guys happen to see something, let me know, because I didn't notice anything. So the regular server will update towards the end of this month. So if you haven't logged on to the production server, you should probably do that just to take a peek at what it looks like. So you're not surprised when you see the new tab that gives you the abbreviated view for us. But it's handy dandy in case you've not seen it. It's in the record summary. So moving right along, we're going to talk about trainings and then I'll come back to the other part. So as always, individual and small group trainings via Zoom are available anytime you guys want to ask me. So there is a link there. It takes you to a calendar where basically you just choose a time slot and it emails me and says, hey, Liz, this person wants to have a Zoom. And then it asks you a couple questions if you specifically want to talk about anything, and then it automatically sets it up. So it's really easy. It's not scary. It can be with one person. It can be with like 5 people from the same library. It doesn't matter. So whatever. It's very casual. Use the button if you need to. Regional training coming up for 2024. I have started reaching out to libraries and scheduling those. The first one that has been set up already is Cedar County, and that is going to be in March. So March 15th, that's a Friday. We like to do them on Fridays. Seems like more people show up. So if you are close to Cedar County, we try to do them within like a 2-hour range. So if you were about in a 2-hour range of Cedar County, this is probably the closest one to you. And the page is set up to register. So you can click the highlighted link, easy peasy again, takes you out, you sign up with an email. It will ask you something like, do you have any dietary restrictions or anything like that? And then you are registered. So awesome, good to go. As more are added to the calendar, I will send out emails and you will see them come up in the meeting. So just keep an eye out for that. There'll probably be more popping up over probably the next month and a half. We'll probably do about, I'm thinking 4 or 5 this year. It depends on the availability of hosting libraries and how far apart they are, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, so let's skip over the certification part and get down here. So we're just going to cover this bit because we always do. Cataloging Connect, you guys, the meetings have changed a little bit, 2024. So I know the executive committee meeting and the all membership meeting have changed the Zoom links for 2024. So if you need the new Zoom link and you missed the agenda, you can go to the calendar. It will not be the same as last year. It's a new link, guys, okay? Because I will forget this and probably go on the old one, even though I'm saying this to you. So if you need that, go to the calendar. It's on the Missouri Evergreen from the homepage. We have not changed our list. We are the same. but the executive and the membership have. Okay. I'm nodding because I'm agreeing with myself. Yes. Okay. But that's where you find all the meetings going forward. So if you need the links to all the meetings, there you go. And the regional trainings will start to appear on there as we schedule them. Migrations. West Plains is getting set up. I just jumped out of honestly a West Plains meeting right before this, before I was taking the dog. So they're set up. They will be live at the spring 2024. This is the end of March. Adair County is also scheduled to go live at the in spring 2024 also. So those will be our next two next libraries to come aboard. And we have one thing for cataloging discussion. It's a minor, but I didn't want anybody to see these and delete them, so figured we'd talk about them. And then we will talk all recertification. Okay. So the cataloging discussion today, I started noticing these links following authorities in the catalog. Has anyone else noticed these? They make the record look really, not even junky, just more like a novel because they're a million things long sometimes. And
So,
you're going to,
sorry, just a little background on this. When we did that dedupe, I don't know, 3 years ago or so, or maybe it wasn't corresponding with that. I don't know, but we had this, there was several months where every authority, all of a sudden, it just had this huge link behind it. And we don't know how they came up, or from what I can tell, it's older stuff. If you're seeing new stuff, I would definitely be interested in knowing that. What are you seeing, Liz?
so this is what is going on now. Okay, so now OCLC has actually come out and addressed what these things actually are. Before they had just been randomly showing up and we were like, what? Now they've addressed what they are. And now that we know what they are, we're like, oh, we should leave those alone. So here's an example of one. It's not going to hurt anything if we've deleted them out. It won't, but it could help somewhere in the long run down the road, like yonder down the road. So can you see the Missouri Evergreen catalog? No.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. Okay. Like I'm trying to share the right screen, but we all know how that goes. So I saw a million of them, but then when I went to find a record with them in there, of course you can't find one. You know, that goes. But here's this one. And if you go in, you can see them in Mark View, you can see them in Mark Edit. This is what I'm talking about. So they're going to be after authorities, subject headings. See, it's a link right here. And it's going to be id.oclc.worldcat. This one is entity because it's a person. There aren't any, I think, attached down here. These would be subject headings. But what this is OCLC dipping their toe into getting ready for BibFrame. So these don't hurt anything. All these basically do is if you're in the patron view and you open it, it just takes you to what we see in the authority record. But that makes it even more important then that we are checking our authorities, because then everyone is seeing what that authority is that we're supposed to be seeing and checking. So I'll just copy and paste this. All right, are you seeing the WorldCat entities? Yes. So this, like, now anyone can open this because it's behind it. But this is what BibFrame aims to do, is connect all of these. So the entity, in this case, Johann Sebastian Bach, would connect to his symphonies and his sonatas and whatever, right? So if we had, say, Stephen King connected, like it's supposed to be Stephen King Pet Cemetery, but it's connected to the wrong Stephen King, someone could open that and be like, this Stephen King says he's an accountant in Nevada, and that's obviously not correct. But that's why, you know, we have to be checking our authorities. We're supposed to be doing that. But now the patrons basically, because of BibFrame and this wealth of information they're linking together on the outside, they're going to be able to see parts of it too. It's not the exact thing we see, but it is bits of it. So when you see those links, You can ignore them and leave them alone. If you see an authority that is wrong with a link behind it, you're going to have to delete out the link and the authority and change just the authority. That's fine.
So I
You
looked
don't
at
have to.
this.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I looked at this from the OPAC side because,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of
Yeah.
us with all of this crap, sorry, we worry
Yeah.
about, that it's just junking up the OPAC. And when you're doing the, show more details part, which is
Mhm.
essentially the only thing that a patron would, even that's probably a step further than what patrons would do. But this link doesn't show in that part.
To
But if
them.
they go all the way to the bottom and look at the MARC record, which the chances of that are very slim, it does show up there. So really, this is just for us
So,
catalogers on the back
okay.
end.
Yeah. So they would have to go all the way. They would have to really kind of know what they were looking for almost, to know what it was wrong or what they were seeing. Cause yeah, there it is. But they're not wrong. You don't need to delete them, but you also don't need to put them, you don't need to be seeking them out and finding them. Just leave them be if they're there. If you check the authority, that's the right Johann Sebastian Bach. I'm just not touching it. I'm walking away. That's fine. Just to be aware that that's what those things were. And before they addressed what they were, it was like, that's weird. What is that? So people had been deleting them, which is fine. I had deleted a bunch too, because don't junk stuff up. So, but yeah, that's what they are. No worries. So is that clear to everybody? Some of the links are very, very long. That one was actually kind of short. I've seen one that like took up like a line and a half. Yeah, so I apologize for how that looks. It's going to be weird because we're not necessarily used to that. All right, so let's go back here to the agenda. Anybody have any questions about that? No? Yeah, Dorinda, I don't like them either. I mean, I am very much like, don't touch my stuff. And I feel like they've inserted things into my record that shouldn't be there, but they just, boo. We're moving forward. It's launching and trudging onto BibFrame at some point. So that's OCLC's trudging onto BibFrame. Okay, so we're going to move on and we are going to talk about recertification and certification. Woo! Excited. I'm very excited. So it's live. We're saying it's live. People have checked it and I've corrected some errors because I made some boo-boos and things weren't appearing right and I can't always spell correctly. Never. So it is live on Odoo. So what does this mean? Recertification, we have to have a advanced cataloger certified in each member library. Correct? Correct. Within 6 months of when you join. And so the certification started 2 years ago and we had the document on the website and then you went through the document and did the coursework. I've transitioned it over to Odoo. I was like, it took me a minute because we talked about pronunciation 15 times. And so now it will be on the site, the certification, and now the recertification. So what does this mean? That means if you have a new cataloger starting, say today, and you want them to take the certification, this is where you will direct them. We are going to put this link on the website and take the old document down. We'll probably leave the old document up just for a smidge in case somebody is in the middle of using the old one. Because we're not going to pull the rug out from under you because that just seems mean. So we'll put this up and say use this one. And then in like a month or so, I'm going to warn you again, and then we're going to take that old one down completely. So you can't even look at it. And this is where you will go. So if you have a new cataloger, it will all be online and it will all be in this course format going forward. Okay? Yeah. So where is it? So to get here, we go to moevergreenlibraries.odoo.com is where the homepage for the landing page basically for the cataloging step will be. I just have that saved on my computer. I actually have it over here in a tab, so I'm just going to tab over. There you go. This is what the landing page looks like. And it's like, hey, you're in the right place. It's Missouri Evergreen Library. Hooray. So let's say you are looking to do your recertification. Okay. I'm Kate Coleman and I have to do my recertification. Okay, so recertification is going to be rolling. That means that if you got your advanced certification 2 years ago in April, you don't technically have to be recertified till this April. Could you do it right now? Sure. You do you. But do you have to? No, not this second. You have till April. Now, if you can't remember the date or the month, whatever, because I'm not going to hold you to the exact date, it'll probably, like, I'll look at the month. If you can't remember exactly when you got basic or advanced certified, you can message me. We kept track of that. And I can tell you what the date was. Not a problem. Because if you didn't keep your certificate or you have 1,000 emails like I do, who knows where that went? Who knows? But it's rolling. So not everybody needs to worry about this right this second. If you want to, like, get ahead of the, and do that, great. You don't have to. Okay. I just want to stress that to everybody. So I know that because there are some people who only got certified maybe 6 months ago. If you got certified 6 months ago, you have a year and a half. It's rolling. Okay. So, but let's say Kate did hers right out of the gate. She actually needs to do hers right this second. So what is Kate going to do? So when you get to this landing page on Odoo, what you're going to have to do is, if you've never logged on before, you need to create an account. Now, this will involve needing an individualized email address. So if you have a library email address that you share, that's only going to work for one person here. You really need to have an individual one. And you would do just as you would with any other website. You would click sign in. You would don't have an account. It would walk you through. Not hard. Then you can always click the home right here and it will take you back to this landing page. Then next time you need to sign in, you would click sign in, enter your credentials, and log in. Easy, right? Just like 100 other websites we use every day. You can also reset your password if you've forgotten. I've already done that one. It works. So now, let's say I've set up my account and I'm going to log in, maybe. Oh, okay, maybe not. There we go. Because I also made a test user account so I could be a student. So this is my test user. Oh, I called myself test user. So there's my test user account. So let's say I need to do my recertification. I would sign on like I just did, and your name would be here. We're going to pretend it says my name. And you would go to the cataloging tab. And then when you click on that, it opens basically everything cataloging related on the website we have. So if you were advanced certified last time, you only need to do the advanced recertification this time. You don't have to do basic and advanced. You just do the highest one that you achieve. Okay. Now there are going to be some people who are like, let's say they were basic as certified last time, and now this comes out and maybe they're like, well, maybe I want to be advanced certified. Do I need to do the basic recertification? No, I would just do the advanced certification, not worry about, but there's going to be weird questions like that. But just the highest thing that you achieved, do it again. So people who are at the advanced level, just do the advanced recertification. People who stopped at basic, do the basic recertification. So you will choose whichever one you want. You will get a Happy Kitten landing page. They're all kittens. Press continue. And it will look like this. Now for the recertification, there are two things. There is coursework and there is a quiz. The coursework is actually done through a Google form, which is really, like, I'll show you how to do it. It's easy. And this one is 15 questions for the basic certification. And to pass the quiz, I think you have to have a 90%. So I wrote that down because I'm bad at math. So that you have to get 13 out of 15 right to pass. But you have 2 attempts to do this quiz. Okay. So if you don't pass them the first time, don't panic. You have another attempt. It takes the highest one. Okay. And this is in no way not open book. You use everything that you would use on a daily basis when you do cataloging. I don't catalog without using 100 websites and all of my notes. So take these quizzes and do this coursework with 100 websites and using your notes. It's not meant to be overly hard. It's just meant to be a review and a reminder. Okay, so when we're in here, all you would basically do is click the button and say, join the course. And we wait because it's thinking. Maybe. Let's reset. Did I not sign in? Let's see. Oh, join this course. There it goes. And it changed to you're enrolled. And then this little bar down here shows how much of it you've completed. This one, it's easy. You can do the coursework first. You can do the quiz first. Now the coursework here that I will open is just showing you what is going to be in the Google Doc. So if I was you, I'm not telling you what to do. What I would do though, is I would open this and just print this out, this page, like a page for the basic, page for the advanced, because it's the directions. It's going to give you these pretty much exact directions again in the Google document. But I just, I like to have something tangible. And it hyperlinks you to several things on here. First, it talks about how we're going to submit things in the Google Doc. So the Google Doc is going to ask for your email address. Use the one that you used in the Odoo site. Odoo, sorry, there it was. I know I was going to do that. Use the same one. And you're going to need to use the snipping tool because you are going to have to do screenshots again. Not as many as the first time, but you will have to do screenshots. So if you don't know, the snipping tool is something that's available on basically every Microsoft computer. So if you go down to the Microsoft menu, the Windows pane, and you click that, and in the search menu, type in snipping tool, it will pop up. Can you see my snipping tool if I open it?
If you drag it over to the screen, maybe.
It's there. Can't you see it?
No, we can't see it.
Okay. Basically, it opens a little box. It has a plus on it, and then a couple options, because it will let you time the picture. But really, all it's doing is taking a screenshot of your whole screen or letting you cut out the picture on the screen that you want to take. It's really easy. The snipping tool, I think, is the easiest thing to use to do a screenshot, because you can either choose exactly the little bit you need or just do the whole thing. So that's how we're going to do screenshots. All right. So then, of course, we log into the server, all this. Then when you get to the part where you actually have to do screenshots and upload them, I give you a naming convention. Now, is it imperative, absolutely necessary, you have to name things this way? No, it's just for really me to keep them straight. But it makes it easier in life on the back end because it sorts everything for me. So if you could follow it, that would be fantastic. And I include it here. It's your name and your library code. It can be your last name. It can be your first name. So if I could just say Liz Meck on all of my screenshots, and then they all file on the back end, that would be awesome. Thank you. The snipping tool lets you save them. So there you go. That's how the certification will look. Now, where does it go in the Google Doc? Well, that's linked down here. Okay. I don't know if I necessarily want to be me, but oh, this is the face.
I'm so glad to not be the only person that this happens to.
I swore I typed the same thing in every single time. But anyway, so this is what it looks like. It's going to be very easy, right? Okay, so here, put the email in that you use. It's going to tell you log into the MEC server. It's hyperlinked. So if you need to open it, you click that. The MEC server will open for you. Username, searching the catalog. And then it gives you an example. When I want you to make a screenshot of something, I give you an example of what my screenshot would have looked like. Okay? Hooray. So I tried to make this as easy as possible, and it is not supposed to scare you. Okay? That's the main thing I want you guys to understand. Like, recertification is not supposed to be very difficult and scary. It's not. It is a review. It is easier. It just wants you to think a little bit. And the coursework should be easy. Honestly, the quiz should make you think just a little bit more than the coursework, because I'm asking you some things in there that you might have to like actually look up like you would if you were cataloging. Okay. Yes, I'm agreeing. If you guys have any questions, please jump in at any point. Okay.
I'll just let you all know that I have recertified and I did not get a 100% on my quiz.
And I will give you a hint, guys. When I'm asking you to look at authorities, you got to read the scope notes. You have to read the scope notes. That's what you should really be doing when you're cataloging. But like, there's one in there particularly that is tricky because of that. And if you get that, no shame. I get it. Someone said, Ron said gas. I know. Gas. So if you are retaking, like doing the recertification or the advanced certification, and you're like, a little nervous about it and you want to review, you can go into the basic or the advanced regular certification and look at all the documents. You don't even have to join the course. All of this is open to you to look at. So if you're like, man, I really want to review, how to create an original record, go in and open the document. Go ahead. It's right there. You can open them, you can download them, watch the video. You don't necessarily have to register for that. The only reason you have to register for the course is if you want to complete the quiz in the other ones and for me to track that you have done it. So you have to register for the course you're taking. The other ones, you just want to use the stuff, go in there and open it all day long and look at them. If you find a mistake, though, tell me.
So Liz, I have a question.
Mhm.
So when we first recertified, everybody had to go through basic and then everybody had to go through advanced. But now that we're recertifying, do we have to recert on both?
No. You only do the highest one. So Kate, you're advanced, you only do advanced. Because it's assuming at this point that you know basic because you already took it. And I'm not going to torture you that much.
And again, just to tell you guys my experience, I happened to be going through the original certification on Odoo because I was the committee we were proofreading it and everything. So I had all of that fresh in my mind, and then I went to do my research, and the whole course as a whole for the certification for basic and advanced, they're fantastic. So even though I didn't have to do it, I was glad that I had just freshly gone through that and it was fresh in my mind when I did the recertification. Certainly not necessary, but if you do have something like Liz said that you think that you might want help reviewing, then go into the regular certification and look at her documents and videos because they were very helpful.
So Karina, say again at what we have to look better when we're taking tests. So where I noted that the authority, looking in the scope notes, that's particularly in the advanced recertification. I asked you about authority. Look in the scope notes. Basically, I'll actually show you where that is. So let us go to, so here we are. Okay. So I'm looking at LCHS CAT. Here I am. So the scope notes are basically when you click on that, all the stuff in here, the notes, if it has any notes particularly about it, or like variants particularly, see how these are not linked? That means you may have looked that up looking for CAT, but these are not the term. We don't like those. However, you may want to use these terms or these terms. Notice how they're linked. Those are authority terms that are broader and narrower that you could use also. These variants, not authorities. Just kind of like see here like in a dictionary. Broader, narrower, yes. Okay. And then it even gives you narrower concepts. But that's what I was talking about. Because
Well,
that has been the most confusing thing on either of the quizzes for people.
even one thing that I did if you look at the bib standards website, like LC or OCLC, that's where you will even see
Yes.
like the actual word scope notes,
Yes.
so that's what she's kind of talking about.
Yeah. They're called scope notes. It's a cataloger term, but it's talking about all the junk down here in an authority record. Now, I would actually encourage you, if you're even a little bit nervous, go to the certification and look at the documents because I did rewrite all of those documents and it took a long time. So use them. They're there for you. Okay, so there's cataloging terms and acronyms, there's an introduction index, useful websites. I would say probably the most helpful stuff will be under basic certification. If we're talking document wise, breakdown of a MARC record is going to be very, very helpful. Because I broke it down step by step. Now, I will also note, because I forgot to say this earlier, when you open these, if you're logged in, you can share these. So you can email it to yourself to have it on hand. You can also print all of these documents. So they're available whenever. Because I'm the kind of person, sometimes I like things tangible. So I print it out and stick it on my cubicle wall. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? This is not supposed to be scary. You have 2 chances to pass the quiz. The coursework in the Google Forms, it comes to me and me only, Liz directly. I get an email that says, so-and-so has finished their coursework. And I go in and there's 2 or 3 things that I personally look at, and then I send you your final recertification certificate. That's what will happen.
Oh, there's a great question in chat. If we begin this research, will it save our work if we get interrupted or need to continue the next day?
Now, so if you're in the Google form and you have logged in with your Google email, like your email address, doesn't have to be a Google email address, but you've logged in with an email address, it will save. It will save. But if you have to be using that email address to do that. So I could go in and do one question and come back.
And you're talking specifically about the Google form?
Yes.
Okay.
Odoo also. Now, Odoo, the quiz will not let you save. The quiz is like, you have to complete the quiz when you're sitting there. That is the one thing. Now, the other thing in there, let's say if you're doing a regular certification, you're clicking through all of these, you don't have to obviously do those in one sitting. The quiz, on the other hand, you do have to complete at that one sitting. It will not let you save. Now, when you're in it, can you go back and look at questions? Yes. But you can't close it completely and come back the next day. It won't save on the quiz. They're not long enough for it to even, I think, give me the option to let you do that. Because I gave you all the options it would let me have.
So Lisa, she just asks again. So we only have 2 chances at this test. So Liz, what if we take 2 chances and we're like, I was just wonky both times or something? What happens?
Then I will email you because I will see the questions that you missed. I will email you and I will say, hey, let's talk about this. Because it's probably going to be something like the authority record. I don't know, right? It's going to be like 1 or 2 things. And I will literally reach out to you via email and we will talk about it. And then we will consider that passing your quiz.
And what's the grade that we need to have to pass?
It's a 90. So it's 90%. So for the basic certification, I just looked over and my cat is asleep on my notebook, which made me laugh, although I need it. It's hysterical. Okay, so the basic recertification quiz has 15 questions. So in order to pass, you have to have 13 right. Let me make sure. No, it's 14. Math. It's 13.5, but I'm not sure if there's any 0.5 questions on there. So 13.5, 14. Okay. So you can miss one completely. The other one, the advanced recertification quiz has 21 questions. And you have to have 19 correct. So you can miss 2 on that one. And yes, you do have 2 tries. If you don't get it in 2 tries, guys, do not be scared. I am not going to be angry. I'm just going to reach out and be like, what was confusing? Because partly this is me wanting to know, did I word something really dumb and confuse everyone? Because that's not out of the realm of possibilities that me and the people who checked it speak cataloger at such like a weird esoteric level that we're like, oh, this is my fancy finger and my fancy mustache. But that you don't understand what we're talking about. That's not out of the realm of possibilities. So don't be scared. But you do have 2 tries.
And just to reiterate, these are meant to be done in tandem with you researching the answers. We want you to go, we want you looking at the Bib Formats website. We want you, so we encourage that. That is okay. The documents that go with the certification that we were talking about, refer to those.
Open them. Use them. There's one in here called, let's see, useful web resources. All of those would probably be helpful to look at when you want to take the quiz. The only thing I don't want you to do is ask the other catalogers next to you. That is really the only thing I would consider cheating. I want you to do it how you would do it cataloging on your own. Okay. Now, if you need somebody to point you in the right direction, that's different. Just don't ask them the answer. I don't know how I will police this, but I will feel sad.
So will we know immediately if we didn't pass it? There's
the quiz, yes.
Up? Okay.
The quiz, you will immediately know if you passed it. So if you failed the quiz, go in and like look at it and see, because there should be a retake quiz button. It should offer it to you. If you've only taken it once and failed it, it should offer you the retake button for the second try.
Does it tell you which questions that we got wrong? Like, can we go back and look at our quiz and say, oh, I got this one wrong. What did I do?
It tells you what's wrong, but it doesn't tell you the right answer.
Kathy says, is there a time frame from when we start the coursework to when we finish?
Oh, I mean, we wanted you guys to do it in the rolling fashion. So let's say if you got your certification in February, we'd like you to finish it in February sometime. So if you want to look at stuff and do review at the beginning of the month and take it more towards the end of the month, great. If you want to take it, let's say you actually are, didn't do it till April, but you want to do it in February. No, you can go ahead and like do it now if you want, or you can wait until April to do it and do it by the end of April. That's up to you. So you have a little bit of a slush zone. Now, the particular things, if we're talking like if you open something and it lets you save, like the quiz, I'm pretty sure, do not quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure if I open the quiz and push start and answer a couple questions, but don't submit it because I freak out and leave, it doesn't count that. I wouldn't try it. I'm going to test that actually to be sure. But you have 2 tries for the quiz. That's the one thing you have to sit down and take, but they're short. They shouldn't take you that long. Some of the questions in the quiz are meant to just be like informational questions and gimme questions. Some of them you have to think more about. The coursework may take you a little bit. That's why you have the paper to look at it before you even start. So if you have that paper that you print out to begin with, you could conceivably take all of your screenshots first before you even open the Google Docs.
That's exactly what I did. I actually completed the whole course, saved my screenshots and all of that stuff. And then I went to the Google Doc and just plugged everything in. And that way I didn't have to worry about it, having to come back to the forum or anything like that. And, I did it over a course of a couple days.
Exactly. I didn't want anyone to feel like, because it will let you reopen it, but I know that would give me anxiety. So I wanted to try to alleviate that for you guys. So I gave you the document you could print out, look at, you could pretty much do the whole thing and then just plug it in when you have it ready. Does that make sense? Kathy K, did that answer your question? Awesome. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? If you guys have questions, you can always text me. My phone number is in my email signature, but 314-775-4480, or you can email me anytime. I will answer questions. Okay, this is so not meant to be scary. Now that this is live and we've announced it, I've given you the address. We're going to put it on the website under above where the other certification stuff is. And it will live there, I guess, in perpetuity, because this will update as I make changes, or if I need to on the back end or add something, maybe later on I add something, a new course. It will appear in the same module then. And I could be like, hey guys, I added a new module in Odoo, and you could go look at it. Right? So this is what this is great for. It's going to make training a lot easier for us.
This was so much easier and so much more streamlined than the kind of clunky way we had been doing it before. That was our first foray. We tried, and now we know what we can do better, and Liz has made it better.
Okay, so before we've just a little bit of time, I'm going to walk you through what I would do if I was doing this one more time. So you go to the home page, you log in, You go to the cataloging dropdown. Let's say I was advanced certified, so I need my advanced recertification. So I'm going to choose that. I'm going to look at the happy kitten and be confident about what I'm going to do. Hello, happy kitten, playing bowling. Okay. Then my first time going in here, so I'm going to join this course because this is the one I need to actually complete and it tracks for me. If it needs to be tracked and I need to know that you took it, you have to join it. Okay. So then I would open this and print it out. Or I would set that aside. Now, if I felt ready, I would go ahead and, take your quiz. Or if you want to review other stuff, go into the other ones, open the documents, say, I really am nervous about Z3950. Okay, so where did that was then advanced. So I'm going to go into that course. I'm going to look at something, review that. There it is. Awesome.
I really would recommend doing the coursework before you just jump into the quiz because why not? It's a review essentially before you
Yeah.
take the quiz. So
I'm just not going to make you, but it's there. They are up-to-date documents with new pictures of everything because the server has updated. So use them, Once I've reviewed and I think I'm ready, all right, I'm going to go back. See, it still says, because I opened this, it says I 50% completed it, even though it's technically not true because it's just tracking my clicks there. But if I'm ready, then I'm going to take this quiz. And it's going to say begin, and I'm going to say okay. Oh, this says it's 20 questions, not 21. Counting. Did not major in math for a reason. So this is what it will look like. It'll ask you a question. I didn't realize the kitten was still there. That's funny. And it will give you one screen per question. The next one, the next one. You can go back. There is a back button, but it's one page per question. And then it will give you your score at the end and tell you which ones you missed and which ones you got correct, but it won't necessarily tell you the answers if you got the question wrong. If I miss all of them, say I fail, it will give me a retake. You can take it twice, okay? So take it twice. There you go if you need to. Awesome. Once that's done, that's done. Then I would take this piece of paper that I printed out that was the advanced certification coursework, and I would read through it, and I would go ahead and little by little do all this. Just do it over a while. Get your screenshots ready, and then when you need to, go to the Google Doc and plug everything in. Because it seems less stressful than having to go and then do it all right there, like it's a real college quiz. And okay, that's how I would do it, but up to you guys. And then that will go to Liz, and then I will look at like the 2 or 3 things I have to look at, and then I will send you your certificate. And then you would be recertified for 2 years. Easy peasy. Okay. I feel
Question?
like I've answered the questions. Anybody have any more questions?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So am I only going to take the advanced
Yes.
recertification, not the basic recertification?
Yes.
Okay.
For recertification, you take the highest level that you achieve. So if you are certified currently at advanced, you only take advanced.
Okay.
If you are currently only certified at basic, you only take basic recertification.
Okay.
So it's slightly easier than last time in that aspect.
I'm excited for everybody to see it. The amount of work that went into this, is impressive, and it is very much easier than what we were doing. So I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, so I'm going to stop share. And that was everything on the agenda. Let's see. So the next cataloging meeting is going to be February 12th. Again, if you need to know when you were certified the first time, email me. Can't find your certificate, I can let you know the date, not a problem. And it'll be fine, guys. Don't be nervous. It's not scary. If you have questions, email me. Otherwise, we will see you in the listserv, or we will see you at the next cataloging meeting. Or I will email you your certificates because you're obviously all going to pass.